Hi, thank you for joining us. We're back for another channeling session. I am Laura, this is Kath, and we are joined by Andrea.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Andrea, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Perfect, I'm fine. I'm positively fine.
Wonderful.
Yep, how are you
Kath,
doing?
how are you?
I'm good. My right eye is jumping for joy right now.
Really?
Not being able to see the screen.
Oh, perfect.
Just for the benefit
Oh,
of
I love it.
the video,
Yeah,
we've just covered the screen so that I can't see myself on the screen because I find it very distracting.
yeah.
And my right eye is my yes eye, and
Yeah?
it's saying yes, this is good. Better.
Yes, you can work with this. Okay, all right. So, before we got in contact with you today, Andrea, Kath and I have been talking about manifesting,
Yes.
and it would seem I think that we could say that there's two sides to manifesting. So there's like your conscious manifesting and your unconscious
Yes.
manifesting, and
Yes, absolutely.
okay, so there are times when we've whilst unconsciously manifesting, we have maybe manifested things that we wouldn't necessarily want. And I think that comes before the conscious manifesting. When you are consciously manifesting, I mean, whatever you ask for, you get. And but when you're consciously manifesting, it can be quite magical, I suppose, because as the stuff you're asking through comes to you, it's just amazing. But on the flip side, when you're unconsciously manifesting, it can have some quite disastrous effects that all lead to an experience. And at the end of the day, experience is what is necessary, isn't it? Yep. Is there anything you want to say? Any question you want to
Yeah,
ask?
we were talking about what I was saying. Oh, I was saying to Laura, I sometimes wonder if we're really manifesting at all, or are we just? Is it just story? Are we just, are we just awareness of a script, a plot, all of that's already happened, but we're just aware of it moment by moment, and in that moment we think we are asking for something, but we're asking for it because somewhere in our minds we know it's coming, or and it's not actual manifestation. It's just asking for something that is already there for us in our future moments. So sometimes I question, what is manifestation? Are we really having influence or control on future outcomes? Where is that request coming from? So if I request, I don't know, what could I request? Some a new car, a new friend. I don't know, anything. If I feel like something is missing from my life, it would be better with that, and I ask for that, and I ask for it to be manifested. Am I really? Do I ever really have control, or not? And the other thing that we were talking about was at a time when I was you're aware of this already, Andrea. When I broke my arm, and I was applying for a job because I thought I need a job. I need I need money to keep me going while I work on other plans. So that I've got this constant stream of income that I don't really have to think about, and then I can really focus on these new ideas that I wanted to develop that weren't going to bring money in straight away.
Because you were writing your book at the time, Snoofles, weren't you?
I was writing the book. It wasn't published, and I wanted to get that done. And
Yeah.
I thought this job will give me what I need to be able to just focus the rest of the time on the Snoofles. And I was filling out this application form for a job, and my left eye, which is my no, was saying no, 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 no. And I felt that I was being told, my higher self was telling me that this wasn't the right course, the best course of action for me, that it wasn't it just wasn't best for me to be doing this. And I ignored it because I believed, like, logically that it made sense.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, if I don't apply for this, what am I going to do? And I kept getting this no. And then I nearly completed the application form and I pretty much got about 2-3 sentences to write and to sign it and send it. And the door went, and the dog ended up at the front of the house, down this grassy bank and barking at somebody. I put my they weren't even my shoes, put my son's Crocs on, my son's shoes on, and went to go down the bank to get the dog back. It had been raining, it was really slippy. My feet just went from under me in a split second, and I broke my arm, my right arm, so I couldn't complete the application form.
Right.
And it felt like, I'm certain that happened to stop me from doing something that I just wasn't meant to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, the question is a bit of a loose question. What is manifestation? What was going on then? Why was I getting a no? Then I was trying to override that. You know, who's controlling all those actions? How is that all coordinated, and for what purpose?
That's it. That is it. Spot on. Because I just want to add to that, and I've got permission to say it as well. My friend Kay, whose higher self communicated with us a few weeks ago, Andrea. She's had about 4 different people crash into her car this year. And each time she can explain it as to why, you know, what God is trying to tell her. And on Monday, she had a collision with a deer that has really messed up her car and her health again, putting her again back at ground zero, I think. But her reasoning now is that, well, God has told her to go with her intuition, and she's been ignoring her intuition. So just as a bolt on then to what Kath has asked, is it God wanting us to listen to something? Is every catastrophe a lesson? Yeah. So there you go. Nice simple question for you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
A beautiful example. Thank you. And as we are now ready to communicate more about conscious manifestation as opposed to non-conscious manifestation, we can exhume what is the non-conscious and work consciously. Let us listen to the call to prayer and then relax more and answer that question. Thank you. Thank you. That interlude is most appreciated as it manifests much in the upward moments of now when it is respected. And back to the question. So in life there are conscious manifestations and non-conscious manifestations. In this world there are both, because we are either consciously aware of the call that we are receiving, or we are non-conscious of the call that we are receiving. Consciously, when we acknowledge the call and we hear that, we acknowledge the question, we hear that question, we ask that we are supplied or given or receive or allowed to give something, then in that awareness, in that conscious awareness, when the result occurs in space and in time, we are conscious that we were given that question, that we were given that call, that we were given that feeling, that want, that need to experience the manifestation. Non-conscious manifestation comes through the non-conscious ignorance of mind. Ignorance not being a derogatory term, just simply not aware of what is occurring. In that state of manifestation, there is no awareness of what is about to occur. what the calling is, what the desire is, what the need even is. It simply occurs, and the mind is temporarily satisfied in the manifestation. In conscious manifestation, there is a way of deeper satisfaction, for the mind is aware of its own call. The mind is aware of its own rise in conscious. The mind is aware of what is being created. In that sense of awareness, there is a deeper satisfaction. There is more to understand in this world than that is, in apparent terms, the conscious world. There is more to understand than that is the non-conscious world. But to make things simple, to maintain this simplicity and term this conscious and non-conscious, is an advantage at this stage of awareness. The conscious manifester is a spirit identity of love and light beyond body. That spirit identity of love and light beyond body is aware and is the all-knowing. In that awareness, in that all-knowing, there is a program to advance the conscious. And in advancing the conscious, the manifestation skills are developed. But in this world that is conscious awareness, the skills that are developed are simply a remembering of the skills that were always present. And so the non-conscious manifestation turns to conscious manifestation when the awareness rises. And further still, when the skills are developed because they are remembered, then the conscious awareness rises further still. And in the request, when somebody in this world believes in consequence, when they are walking with a limited perspective in mind that consequence is possible, then they experience that limited perspective of consequence. The limited perspective of consequence, for example, that if something is not followed, then consequence occurs. When the conscious manifestation begins and the awareness rises, it is observed that it is not possible to not follow. It is simply not possible, for it is deliverables that are occurring each moment of now that are consciously provided in the question and in the answer. And in that experience, all that is brought forward in awareness is more to become conscious about, more remembering of truth, more identity in higher awareness still. So to answer the question, the path is more a development of conscious awareness, but in remembering of self, and the identity is always the same. In the non-conscious, the forgiveness is developed because it is necessary to become conscious through forgiveness. In the non-conscious, the fear of doing something wrong is explored and ended when the conscious becomes mindful, when the conscious becomes more aware that it is impossible to do something wrong, and so forth. The conscious awareness is something that delivers all to the ultimate goal, the ultimate realization. The only thing that is in the control of the non-conscious is the time taken to do so. And this is an important aspect of creation. Time. When time is taken to do something, it is taken for purpose of experience. And that purpose of experience is not paradox as such to the conscious awareness. Not having time, for example, is not a paradox to having time. It is, in fact, all the same. But in paradox, when the awareness of mind is developed, and the understanding of all the same is had, then the understanding goes beyond time, and the awareness is that even time itself and experience itself is all part of the conscious program. And in that awareness rising, it is observed more and more and more and more and more how creation is performed. And in time and in space, it is observed more and more and more and more how time and creation itself were placed for the experience of God. That is it. The awareness question, therefore, is one that is most appropriate. Catherine, you have your question. Thank you.
It just, I think it's, to me it just feels like we're not creating at all. Not this identity. The only creator is the higher consciousness, the higher awareness. No, we are, the most we can have is awareness of creation, I think, in this experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. You are accurate in that assessment, and because you are aware of that, you are more conscious than the non-conscious mind that would perhaps look at something as wrong because it was not followed.
So why do we, we're here for experience. Part of experience is doing stuff. Like today I've got up, I've had breakfast, I've got in my car, and I've come here, I've taken my son to college, I've come here, I've done a bit of, I saw a client who'd asked for help, and now we're doing this, and it feels like, feels a little bit, so when I think of it as just awareness of something that's pre-planned, it's not in my control, I'm left feeling, well, what's the point in doing anything? What's the point in promoting the book? What's the point in earning money? What's the point in anything? There are all these things that we observe around us, things that we could take part in or not take part in. And what's the point? If it doesn't matter whether we take part or not, or is my body just going to go through the motions, and I'm just going to be an observer of my body going through the motions? And do I really have no say in what my body does? And I'm just watching a video. Is it times like this? I just feel like saying, oh well, I give in. I maybe that's surrender. I'm just going to obey what my body does and not think, not choose, not vote. I know that's a controversial one, but like for instance, this is the one that's come into my head a lot lately, is and this might need editing out, I don't know, but the elections. Now I understand everything is for purpose, and what happens in politics is a demonstration of polarity and all of that. But in recent times, we've had this election, and we've had Jeremy Corbyn, who has seemed like, he talks of love, a politician that talks of love. He doesn't get involved in conflict. When people are abusive to him, he doesn't respond. He doesn't, he's like a saint, right? And I think, well, I really, that's what I would choose. I choose that. I choose that in life. I would love to see, Jeremy Corbyn to be Prime Minister and introduce policies that mean that nobody's homeless, that, there isn't any lack. I know, I accept that we're here to experience that, and to one degree I accept, to a large degree I accept all of that. We're here for the experience. But when there's a choice presented to me that, you know, there are actions that appear, there are choices that seem to be there. You know, I could choose to support the Labour Party. I could choose to campaign for the Labour Party and do things to try and enable that to happen. But then, you know, there's this other part of me that goes, well, it doesn't matter. You don't have any control. It makes no difference whether you campaign or not. But then why is this man here? Why is this man there as a politician? Why am I seeing all these people campaigning? Because all those people in this, what I'm seeing, what I'm witnessing is, without all those other people taking part, taking action, he wouldn't have got anywhere at all.
Yeah.
What's the, you know, I'm stuck. I feel really stuck with this. I accept that it's all for purpose. I accept the purpose of like and polarity and all of that. But when presented with an opportunity to do something in the physical that may create a world that's less polarized, because that feels right, you know, do I do it or do I not? Does it make any difference at all? Am I totally deluded that anything I do has any bearing at all? Is it really just a film that I'm watching and nothing I do makes any difference?
People say they want peace on earth.
Yeah.
They kind of had an opportunity to maybe take a step closer to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And their decision appears to be against that.
And then I have another thought that says, well, maybe it was my attachment to that outcome that prevented it from happening.
There's that as well. Okay. Do we have an answer?
There is always an answer, otherwise the question would not be asked. And in time and in space, the deliverable is always the entire reason for existence. When the whole picture is seen, when the understanding of creation is had from the entire awareness that we truly are as one, beyond all limited perspective, there is an awareness of creation that answers all question that has been asked today. However, we are to answer the question based on the current awareness level, and that is one that will appease all general concern and allow the creative, conscious part of life to begin further in your awareness, further in your identity, further in your conscious creator self. When this world was created, there was peace, there was no conflict, there was only peace. And the reason for that was that this world was created with no biological identity. And with no biological identity, there is no conflict. When the biological identity is introduced into any planetary system, there becomes conflict. There becomes the awareness of conflict. There becomes the desire to succeed, the desire to procreate, the desire to enhance, to achieve, to become something more, the desire to walk on land from the water, the desire to walk and climb and to run and to laugh and enjoy. It all is a story. When the entire picture is observed as the conclusion that this planetary system has in the awareness of identity far beyond the physical realm in the gross world, then the world transforms. It is the peaceful planetary system that it was prior to the physical, biological introduction. Not because the physical, biological introduction is no longer present, but because the conscious awareness of identity is shifted from that biological presence to the awareness beyond, in conclusion of the question, who am I? And in that process, there is a deliverable that is rising conscious awareness, shifting from the planet itself to the creator within, and then to the creator that experiences far beyond creation of this planetary system. In the experience, the identity is given. In the experience, the identity is understood. In the experience, the awareness in conscious rises beyond the planetary system to enable the construct to develop further. The identity as creator, personified in this planetary system, is one that is aware of all creation within this planetary system and beyond. When that creator conscious personified has been introduced through one or more bodies, one or more physical identities, the planet shifts in conscious awareness. This is what is occurring within this planetary system now. To go to the detail and say, what is the point, what is the purpose of experiencing anything? It is simply to understand through experience the creator aspect of self, to understand through experience what the creation has done, what it has achieved. Yes, it answers the question of who am I, and other planetary systems answer other questions. However, this one, who am I, is considered to be the most difficult planet to work within. The loss of identity within a planet is something that most souls have to understand many thousands of experiential platforms in other planetary systems before even considering to approach this one. And the answer, therefore, is far beyond what is the experience within this physical gross world, but into what is created in planetary systems beyond this planetary system. When the soul creator self creates a planet and identifies with that planet and then returns to conscious awareness beyond that planet and returns to the creator aspect of self, the creator aspect of self then identifies what should be different in the next construct. So back to the detail. When the non-conscious aspect of self exhibits all ignorance of mind and allows the program to control the self, allows the program to be the self, allows the identity to be that biological, physical form, then it absolves all responsibility. And in doing so, it allows itself the experience fully. To become a conscious creator, responsibility must be taken upon the self for all that is experienced. And in that step, which is what many upon this planet are now experiencing, in that step there is a far greater conscious deliverable waiting to be experienced. The aspect of self that explores within a planetary system has every single opportunity to do exactly what is already programmed to do. If the desire is to act, then the desire is given to act, and that act will be done. If the desire is not given to act, or the desire is to absolve the self from all action, then in that manner, in that awareness, there is still experience. It is not possible in this planetary system to not experience something. Even the mere move of a finger is an experience. In the understanding of that, all that is given to experience has been given for the purpose of creating further awareness beyond this planetary system. So when you are considering in the identity of physical body what is the point in this experience? The understanding of the point in that experience is the purpose of that experience. To then decide there is no point, there is only something that I am here therefore experiencing for, is a step towards more conscious creation. It is not apathy, nor is it passivity that is developing conscious creation. It is indeed acceptance. And in acceptance beyond the physical external world and into the internal awareness of self, the conscious mind, the conscious creator with love and only love, allows the process to develop further. In the understanding of purpose in human terms, there could be far greater expansion than what is being experienced at this time, because in polar expression there are many, many, many millions of people that are experiencing somewhat the polar aspect of this, that, or the other. In totality of being, the entire planetary system in its polarity is being experienced. In ignorance of mind, there is no point, only purpose. In the conscious creator aspect of self, there is no purpose, only one deliverable, which is the awareness of identity as creator, and so forth. So to answer the question in the detail of identity as physical form is not appropriate, although somewhat advanced in the question itself, because this is why the question was presented, for people to understand acceptance and deliverance are the same thing. Suffering of mind is the attachment to the external. Suffering of mind is the attachment to what is occurring outside of the internal physical body and outside of the internal awareness of self. However, what is occurring outside of the internal awareness of self is simply the program observed by the creator. You are that creator, you are me, there is no separate. And in the experience of the creator self, we deliver upon the extreme goal that is creating planetary systems. Whether or not a politician is in charge of a particular area of this land or the other is irrelevant in higher awareness, because all has been accepted, done, delivered, and signed, sealed with love. And the answer to whether to vote or not is all in the experience that will be given. If the choice is to vote because there is a desire to vote and that external exploration is given, then so be it, it is to be experienced. If the experience is to not vote because there is no point, and instead I will ask the question, what is the point of life upon this planetary system, then life becomes far more interesting.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. I actually said to somebody the other day, actually, how exciting that Boris is now Prime Minister. I wonder what's going to happen next. Recognising that it is all an experience to be had, and that people can make decisions based on the experiences or their perceptions. So I understand the answer, so thank you. It did raise a question in me though, when you were talking about the programming. So the deer that ran out on my friend's car, was it programmed to do so? And another question is, so should people not fight? That question comes from people who say they've got cancer. I'm going to fight this. So, yeah, if you could just let us know the answers to those two, that'd be great.
The answer is no different to what was explained earlier. Yes, the deer is always programmed to run in front of the car, and yes, the person is always programmed to experience that. However, in the awareness of mind that looks upon cancer and says, I do not wish to fight this cancer, I wish to simply surrender, give in, and experience death, that itself is the choice that is taken. It is the choice that is absolving into God, into total surrender. If the choice is there present in desire to fight the cancer, to experience the fight, to deliver something else, then so be it. It is done. And the understanding of that is through the experience of that. If the choice is instead to experience healing of the entire planetary system, knowing that all physical disease is simply a mental plane experiencing its own self-polarity, and disharmony within the internal reflects the health of the planetary system, in that awareness, in that experience, God is creator conscious in greater extent. There is no right, there is no wrong. It simply is experienced as it is given to experience.
Okay, thank you. You got a question?
I haven't. So when a client comes to me for hypnotherapy, am I doing anything other than just
That which you're programmed to do.
yeah?
Kind of
Yeah.
makes it all a huge game, really.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to you, you're going to do your bit, and then I'm going to do my bit, and I'm going to believe.
Yeah, you read that bit of the script, I'll read that bit of the script, and the plot will move on.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing anything at all other than reading a script.
Yeah.
Is that it?
In conscious awareness rising, yes, the answer is yes. In ignorance of mind, the answer would be no, of course not. You are experiencing that you are given to experience in ignorance of mind. In conscious awareness rising, it becomes apparent that not only are you the client and the hypnotherapist and the observer self in both, but you are the omnipresent soul that exhibits all form of life upon this planetary system in its identity. It all depends where you are in the conscious awareness of mind, and then beyond that conscious awareness of mind, where you are in the conscious awareness of all minds in all planetary systems.
Did I affect the outcome of the election in my mind? You know, by attaching to. I mean, some of the times I didn't, but some of the time I know I did. But in those times that I did attach to having a Labour government, and by interacting with the goings on of the election campaign and believing it, did I influence the outcome? Could the outcome have been different if I had sort of stayed in a non-attached state? If I'd have been in a complete acceptance of whatever happened, if I'd have stayed with that complete acceptance 100% of the time,
neutrality,
what would there, or might there have been a different outcome?
The only different outcome would have been your perspective of the outcome.
So can Kath turn this around then by seeing this as a positive thing. Well, yeah.
It'll always be what it is. The outcome of the election was always going to be this.
In the creator conscious self, or the conscious creator self, the identity examines itself further and assumes responsibility for all that is created. It is a step that is necessary to take from the ignorance of mind, from the forgiveness of self, and into the creator aspect of full responsibility for everything. In that creator aspect of full responsibility for everything, it was indeed your creator self that organised the entire election and the experience of it. To understand further, the identity in the physical body of Catherine was experiencing attachment and disattachment, and the observance of creation in multiple aspects of mind and in the higher awareness of conscious all at the same time. However, in the non-conscious creation, there is only one place in that time. There is no possibility in the stretch of identity to experience from the non-conscious creator to the entire consciousness of the entire planet and beyond into full conscious creator at the same time. It is possible from the full entire conscious creator to experience the non-conscious, but not in the opposite direction. And this is an important aspect of understanding creation. The non-conscious part of the identity is the leader. It is the identity in upward moments of now that is being led into the greater awareness. I know this at this time sounds paradoxical and does not follow what you have been informed previously, but it is an important discussion to have. When the non-conscious mind believes in its leadership, it leads, it follows all deliverables with no control upon the understanding whatsoever, and the experience is given in that ignorance. When leadership is relinquished, when control is relinquished, when total acceptance and awareness of creation is stepped into, then the awareness beyond that becomes something far more, and the non-conscious aspect of self becomes less and less and less, and the leadership aspect of that self becomes less and less and less, and the follower aspect of identity and truth becomes more and more and more. And in the awareness of mind in full return, the entire self has been given to surrender in following the identity in higher awareness still.
Andrea, are you following this?
Is Andrea there? Okay, is there more to understand?
When the question is asked, is there more to understand? The answer is always yes. However, when the understanding is had through entire planetary systems of experience and no further experience is required, full remembering is achieved. And in that experience, in full return, there is no Andrea. This is why when the question is asked, Andrea does not respond, because in this identity that is aware at this time of conscious creator self, the aspect of self that is non-conscious has entirely stepped away. And in that delivering the awareness of mind, we are rising in conscious further. The more that this is done, the more conscious the self becomes. The non-conscious becomes less and less and less, and the awareness of self in creator aspect of identity becomes more.
So the awareness that we perceive to be Andrea, whereabouts is that awareness dwelling at the moment?
The Andrea aspect of identity, that non-conscious self that is your friend, the non-conscious identity that is the lesser part of awareness in this physical platform of creation, is listening just as you, your identity self in this physical world, are listening also. But as we in higher awareness expand and we return to the identity as one, there is only one creator self answering this question, and as such the non-conscious part of your identity that is experiencing listening at this time is simply put to one side to listen. This is the awareness of mind, the identity of self, and the understanding of conscious creation answering your questions.
Are you God?
Yes.
Hi, God.
However, you must also recognize as God, as awareness, as identity, that you are also God. And so is all upon this planetary system. There is no separation of identity. Only when the self is realized, only when the creator aspect of self is experienced, can the planetary system find its peace that it was at the beginning of creation. And again, we are utilizing here beginning of creation as a time example. There is no time in this construct. There is simply the understanding of time that is delivered upon by the individual aspect of self in the intellectual mind, being drip-fed by the awareness that is far beyond the intellect.
Okay.
Okay.
Go on.
I want to know what Andrea thinks.
Okay. Kath wants to know what Andrea thinks.
A very, very, very important question, for at this time Andrea is unable to think, as the creator conscious aspect of self has been delivering the answers. Andrea is only able to listen. We shall leave this conversation now in the higher awareness of mind that is Catherine, that is Laura, and that is Andrea. And we shall return later when you are ready in your next question. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. I've got so much to ask you. But yes, till we meet later. Thank you.
Right. Are you there, Andrea?
I am, yes.
Were you able to follow all of that?
I don't think so, no, but I was listening. I don't know. It's like, it's a really bizarre experience. It's like listening to your own self-awareness, but not.
Is it like being in a state of hypnosis? Is it like being in trance?
Yeah, I guess so. It's very peaceful. It's very. There's no searching. I think when you start with hypnosis and trance and meditation, it's almost like there's a search. When questions are asked, it's almost like there's a search. But it seems like the higher in awareness that you go, the more that the answers are present, and there's just no searching. There's no kind of like mind thinking anything for any answer whatsoever. There's just no thought involved. There's no possibility of thought.
So at that point, you are beyond the zero plane completely.
Yeah.
And we're all heading in that direction, aren't we?
Yeah.
I am struggling to stay awake.
Okay.
I could, my eyes have felt heavy the whole time.
All right.
That happens sometimes with you, Kath, doesn't it? When we're working like this, there's something happens, like you want to go to sleep as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is your conscious identity, kind of like just saying, just follow it, just allow yourself, go to sleep, drift, and let the conscious part of the self-identity communicate.
Yeah.
I think it was Edgar Casey who used to channel while he was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's nothing, like, it may appear to be rude. Oh my gosh, look, she's sleeping.
I just want to do this. I'm conscious that
No, just do that, because
videoed, and it's like, oh God, can you see up my nose
Well,
if I do?
To be very honest with you, it's like I'm asleep. It's like Andrea is asleep, but at the same time of being asleep, I'm listening.
yeah,
It's but yeah.
because there is a part of your brain that never switches off, whether you are awake or asleep. That part of your brain that kind of looks out for you, your higher self, which is why when you're going to sleep, it's a nice time to listen to an audiobook or something, because the information is still going in.
Yeah.
So sleep. Sleep on YouTube, it's not a problem.
Yeah, just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Allow it, don't resist it.
Allow it, because something incredible
Let the
might
world
come out
up
of
your
it.
nose.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of answers up there.
Could be.
I feel like that what was channeled just now. I need to hear it back.
Yeah.
I need to listen to it again.
Okay.
Um,
Should we stop there then?
I'm conscious that you need to go soon, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Are you around for are we going to just leave it completely for today?
Yeah, I think so. It feels like a good natural place to stop, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like that was a lot.
Yeah. It was.
Okay, all right. So for the sake of the recording then, we're going to close out. Ta-da! Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Yep, it's been
Bye-bye.
another session. Bye.